My brothers and sisters in Christ, what do we do when we confront a teaching, an idea that challenges us, something that doesn't jive with the way that we're living? Do we reject it outright, presuming that we're always right ourselves and so that anything contrary must be wrong? Or are we open to the fact that we could be wrong, that perhaps at times it is we who need to change? Yesterday's gospel passage presented the question of the idolatry of self that can happen when we put ourselves at the center of things and reject anything contrary to our own will. The opponents of Jesus essentially claim to be worshiping God while rejecting Jesus. And this is because they have framed their own beliefs and expectations as the will of God himself. And therefore, anything contrary to their own will must be contrary to the will of God. This, of course, is rooted in not only a pride, but a pride that sets up a false god. It's actually worship of self. Jesus yesterday pointed out, saying that the religious authorities claimed to be disciples of Moses, that they followed Moses, and yet everything Moses taught and wrote spoke of Jesus. So he says, you can't be a people of the scriptures if you deny me. Well, our reflection for today, as these themes continue in our readings, is to look at those places in our life where, not just in all matters in general in life, but particular when it comes to matters of faith or morals, where have I been challenged? Where is there a place that's uncomfortable for me? Perhaps it's a teaching or it's a scriptural reference that every time it comes up makes me squirm in my chair because it points out a difference, or it chastises the way I believe or act or speak. And more importantly, not only where are those places, but what do I do when I'm confronted with religious teaching that might differ from the way I live? Do I dismiss it as out of hand and assume that my own belief is that of God, and so anyone who speaks differently must be wrong? Or do I have the humility to open myself up to what God is really trying to speak? This is critical during this season of Lent as we seek humility to clear out that which is false and spent, that which is fallen and selfish, to make room for God to fill it. Alone, it doesn't matter how much we seek holiness. Every single one of us individually is a sinner and fallen. We all fall short of the glory of God. And so no matter how strong our faith may be, none of us individually represent or conceive fully of the mind of God. It is only in the communion that we have together, under the legitimate authority that God gives through the church, that we have certainty of truth. And so at times, we need to be challenged from our own convictions and evaluate, are these really the teachings of God, or are these my own selfish attitudes or biases? And if it's the latter, am I ready to change? Am I ready to be changed? If we continue in our own ways, we will continue to find not only resistance, but we will find a lack of fruitfulness. We might even wander off the path and find out that we are worshiping a false god or worshiping ourselves. But instead, may we return to God in the fullness of heart, rend our hearts, not our garments, and adhere to him in fullness of mind, intellect, will, and heart. May God bless you all.